The Parliamentary Select Committee on Policing falls into chaos. The Metropolitan officers have been accused of not doing their job against the Just Stop Oil activists, and the police leadership refused to investigate a Labour shadow cabinet minister for misbehaviour towards a female MP. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel that challenges the mainstream media and the political establishment, from the left-wing nutters to the globalist elite. Today's video is all about the police in this country, specifically the Metropolitan Police and what they did, how they conducted themselves during the coronation weekend. Very, very robust, but we also predicted that the moment the coronation is over, they're going to go back to normal of not handling the real issues of the day, including the Just Stop Oil activists who cause disruptions on a daily basis. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about three different topics, which are all similar and linked. One is about yesterday, the Select Committee on Policing, absolute chaos. We're going to show you a couple of clips of what happened there. Then we're going to talk about the Just Stop Oil activists and how the police are not even present anymore in certain areas. And we're going to talk about this Labour shadow cabinet minister who's been accused of harassing and assaulting a female MP, physically creepy, and the police are now refusing to investigate that person. Okay, first, let's talk about yesterday. The Select Committee on Policing, they had a debate about, actually, the police, the way they conducted themselves during the coronation weekend. Adam Wagner, who's a leftist lawyer, he was one of the witnesses. So they had a number of witnesses. They had people from the police. We had people from the organization Republic, the anti-monarchist organization. We had people coming to the Select Committee to answer questions, give evidence. Adam Wagner was a little bit rude, obviously a left-wing barrister, calling the Tory MPs who were asking basic questions sinister. So that was the moment when absolute chaos happened in the House of Commons. Let's go to the video.
You're not here as a lawyer, are you? You're here as a political activist. You're giving opinions, political opinions, which, calling my colleague Mr. Lawton sinister is a new one for this committee. Yeah. But if you are here as a political activist and you have set political views, it was up to the committee who they wanted to invite.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you.
So that's the thing. Obviously, they clearly, the Labour MPs and the Select Committee, they decided to invite a number of people. A barrister who was invited to give evidence about how he thinks about policing, happens to be a left-wing activist. So these MPs are absolutely correct to say, what hat are you wearing today? Political activist or a lawyer, or an impartial and balanced lawyer?
James, because we invited Adam along because he'd worked with the Joint Committee on Human Rights, is a very distinguished lawyer, and we wanted to have that expertise at this hearing.
Distinguished lawyers are calling members of Parliament sinister.
Rude.
Well, rude. I'm not going to stop you asking your questions, but I just want to make it clear that Mr. Wagner is a very experienced and expert in the field of human rights law, and that's...
What is wrong with the political left? They always, when they start losing arguments, they always try to shut it down by saying, for example, it's the same thing happened during the lockdown days with certain scientists and medical experts. They say, well, this person is an expert, so you have to shut up and listen to them. Same thing happened during the EU referendum with Brexit debate, saying, well, an expert from the City of London said if you vote to leave the EU, the whole world is going to end. They just hide behind the illusion of expertise. That's the problem with the left.
Why we got him here today.
Expert at what? Insulting people.
God's sake. Well, nobody's insulting anybody in this room, so let's be clear about that. And we're not making this personal. We're looking at the facts of what happened, and we're trying to get to the point where we understand decisions and why they were made. So perhaps if we do it on that level, James.
Oh, really? So James and other MPs who decide to stand up for themselves and say, well, this guy is calling us sinister. He was the one who started insulting people. Now she's going around saying, it's probably best not to insult our guest. It makes no sense. And then you have a more chaotic situation with the Just Stop Oil activists who infiltrated the session. Yeah, the security system in the House of Commons is very, very strong and robust. And then this happened.
You usually use a combination lock to stop. We're here today to declare democracy.
Come on, officer. Come on. Come on, officer. Do your job. Come on. Officer. No, we're not having this. Come on, officer.
Yeah, that was a moment when the parliamentary TV, BBC Parliament, basically stopped the proceedings. They say suspended. They didn't show anything. And then it came back.
Right, we're now back in session. Lawton.
To be clear, they were just stop oil protesters who tried to undermine the activities of this committee with our witnesses today.
Yep. Okay, so this was the Home Affairs Select Committee, which was it was having a hilarious day. But it is important to talk about Just Stop All Activists, the eco-militants, and the police. So let's go and talk about the police and the way they've been handling all these militant protesters. When they are under pressure for a day or two, they go out there, the police, they go out there and arrest a few of them. And somehow there's always a camera around, media camera, when it happens. Interesting. But the rest of the time, the police are not present, so people are getting frustrated. Ordinary people, motorists and commuters, people who have to get to work or hospitals or schools, they are getting angry. And this is a situation that we are dealing with. Let's go to this video from yesterday. Yep. They're just saying, yeah, you can't block the roads anymore. He doesn't have any more patience. These guys are supposed to go to work. People are getting sick and tired of this little mentality. A lot of beeping around. I believe this looks like Fleet Street. Is it Fleet Street in London? Can't tell. Oh dear. Oh well. So yeah, this continues, and then keeps going and going. Oh dear. Oh. Yep, angry. So this is what happens when you don't have the police present. And at times the police are present but not involved, as Jeremy Corbyn would say, because they just stand there, and sometimes they actually give water, a bottle of water to the Just Stop All activists who are sitting in the middle of the road breaking the law. And if you, as an ordinary citizen of this country, go and confront those activists, you simply want to go to work or wherever you're going, then the police will come and arrest you. And there's absolutely no reason for the police to have different reactions at different times. So when there is a media camera around, and after a few days of pressure by us and many others in the country, then you get one video of the police arresting them, the protesters, activists, and but then the rest of the time, they're either not even there, or when they're there, they're actually helping the activists. There's a lot of issues around the police leadership. There's a lot of issues around the Home Office's overall blanket policy on policing in this country. So there's a massive issue with, obviously, the College of Policing in overall. There is no reform right now that's been introduced that could actually sort out the problem. There are senior experts and all the other former police officers who are frustrated. Every now and then they speak out, and on this channel we give them a voice. And I don't understand why there is no proper debate in the House of Commons about the future of policing, well, and obviously presently, but also the future of policing in this country. Now, speaking of the police, let's talk about this issue with parliamentarians, the Labour Party, and a Labour shadow cabinet minister. A few days ago, on this channel, we reported that a Labour shadow cabinet minister has been accused of physically be touchy with another member of parliament who's female. And that MP, the female MP, we don't know the names yet, decided to eventually file a complaint. And she didn't do it before. She said she was in fear for herself because that MP, the senior one, the shadow cabinet minister, was quite popular in the party. So why would anybody believe her? That's also a toxic culture inside the Labour Party. But Jay Beecher from the Vote Watch, these guys gave us an update on what happened. The police have now decided that they are going to refuse to investigate this further. So nothing's going to happen. There is, obviously, we know that there have been other members of parliament recently, and even now, and in the past, who have been a little bit touchy, let's just say, and, they went with misbehavior, misconduct. But there's another one, at least we could say now, who is walking freely, and justice is not going to be served, not even an investigation, because the police decided it's probably best not to. Well, it's a cover-up. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, it's a cover-up. Why can't you at least investigate it? Then you could decide if you're going to take it further or not. It's really weird. So, the Metropolitan Police have then announced that they were not going to investigate these allegations reported by a female MP, Labour MP, against a popular Labour front bench MP at the victim's requests. So Tortoise, the website first reported this, then we broadcasted on this channel that this female MP claimed that she had been obviously assaulted by this senior member of the Labour Party. And yesterday, the BBC was told that the female MP reported the incident to the Metropolitan Police and to the Labour whips, and the Labour Party claimed that the whips urged her to make a formal complaint to the party. But then she felt that his popularity within the party would stand against her. Now, the Met said that they received the report in March of this year, so 2 months ago, and the incident occurred in July of 2021, so 2 years ago. It took her about 2 years to eventually become brave enough to say something. But now the Met says the victims request that the incident will not now be investigated at this time. So who went to her to push her to do this? That's the thing. So we have to find out why the police would just get the line from, obviously one victim. If the victim is already, the problem with the policing in this country is if the victim says something first, accuse someone, and then changes her mind, which means that she's been pressured by somebody or a group of people, I believe the police should still investigate it anyway. That's the problem I have with the police, because there is a potential harm in the future for other people. Just investigate it anyway. You don't have to start a court session. Just do a basic investigation. But just because clearly the victim's been under pressure, the police decided not to investigate this. What if there will be other victims in the future? What if there will be other targets for this potentially criminal member of parliament? A Labour Party spokesman said, "We take any allegations of this sort very seriously and would always encourage individuals to go to the parliamentary process, the Labour Party process, or the police. In terms of the Labour Party process, it is a thorough, robust and independent process that individuals can have confidence in." Okay. So, considering that the Met already refused to identify either the MPs, leaving the mystery to surround the case, and members of the public taking to social media to question why the female MP would seemingly put the protection of the reputation of a party above bringing a potential abuser to justice. This is the problem. There has to be some sort of mechanism in this country for the police, because the police are there not just to help out an immediate victim, but the police are there to also prevent future harm for other victims. If somebody is accusing somebody of something, even if they are in the future at some point they say, I'm not going to take my case forward anymore. Firstly, it's already a bit dodgy. Why did you accuse them then, unless you were lying? The police should still have a different mechanism to still quietly investigate that person who's been accused, just in case. You don't have to publicize it. You don't have to ruin their lives or cancel them. Just a basic investigation to find out what happened. Because if you don't want to investigate that individual case, the accuser, then fine, that case is going to get closed. But because someone has been accused, we should still be able to keep an eye on them at least. Put them on some sort of list, but not really in a publicized way, because you don't want to just completely cancel someone just because they've been accused. Because otherwise that will be taken advantage of by so many people who would just randomly come and accuse people out of nowhere, and then they get cancelled. So this whole thing must be reformed, the whole system. Otherwise, people's lives will be at risk even further. Now, let me know what you think. We're going to have more shows for you guys at 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. both UK times. We're going to have more news updates for you guys. And if something else happens in between, obviously we'll bring you guys the breaking news. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.